Welcome back for part 2. So this is part 2 of question 9, right? 9.2. We are being asked to determine the value of x for which the area of the page will be minimum. All right, so we will need to use the previous area with the area formula with respect to x. All right, and that was ax, right? Ax is equal to 3,456 over x plus 6x plus 480. Okay, so now for us to find out the minimum, right, the minimum area of this page, we will have to work with the derivative of the area. All right, remember the derivative for has to be equal to 0 to find the minimum or the maximum area of an object, or the area that we actually looking for. All right, so when we're dealing with the derivative, we know that the derivative will have to be equal to 0 at a stationary point, but we can get two stationary points, right? We can get two stationary points or one stationary point. Right. In this case here, we're looking for a local minimum, right? So it's going to be that downside. For a local minimum, the graph has to be concave upwards. Okay, so this is how we identify the local minimum, and you can see that at that point the gradient will be equal to 0 because it is the stationary point, right? Remember, the derivative, it is an equation that gives you the gradient of a function at a value of x, or at a point, at any point, right? So that is what the derivative is. So we are looking for the derivative when when it's our turning point, right? I mean, we are looking for the area, or for the value, sorry, we're looking for the value where our derivative is equal to 0, right? So we'll find the derivative of this 3,456 over x plus 6x plus 480. Okay, so we'll have 3,456 x to the power of minus 1. Why do we do that? Because remember that 1 over x is equal to 1 over x will be equal to x to the power of minus 1, right? That's how it's done. And in this case here, the 1 will be 3,456, right? And then, okay, so once we've solved for x, after we've equated the derivative to 0 and we've solved for x, we will have to put those two x values, we'll get two x values. One will be positive and the other will be negative. We'll have to plug in those two x values, each value at the same time, all right, so that we can find where, because one value is going to give us the maximum area, the other value will give us the minimum area. So we need to find out, or maybe one will give us negative area or the other one will give us positive area. So we need to find out which one gives us the lesser area. That one that has the one that is smaller than the other will be the minimum, but the one that will be greater than the other will be the maximum. All right, so to find the derivative, we multiply the coefficient with the exponent, and then we subtract 1 from the exponent. So in this case here, we had to multiply 3,456 by minus 1, and then we subtract minus 2, and then we add 6. All right. Why? Because the derivative of 6x will be 6. All right. So now remember that when the derivative is equal to 0, that is for the stationary point. So we need to equate the derivative of this area to 0, and then we solve for x. Okay, so let me just try to make space here and write this. Yeah, so the derivative has to be equal to 0 where it is a stationary point. I like that. Let me see if I can just shift this closer to that so I can have enough space. Okay, so this is not actually very hard. You just need to practice it, you know. Okay, let me shift the whole thing. Okay, like that. Okay, so let's get enough space now. Get enough space. Perfect. Okay, so now we need to solve for x. But now for us to solve for x, it'll be wiser or smarter. First, we're going to transpose, right? The 3456 times x to the power of minus 2. We transpose that to the left-hand side, and we leave x on the right, 6 on the right-hand side. Okay, sorry. We leave 6 on the right-hand side. So now they will have minus 2, and then it'll be equal to 6. But now, remember now that x to the power of minus 2 will have to be 1 over x to the power of 2, like that. Remember, 1 over x is equal to x to the power of minus 1, and we'll have to work backwards, right? So to work backwards, we'll have to make the x to the power of minus 2 the denominator, but now it'll have the positive exponent, and we know that 6 over 1 is 6, right? And now we just need to cross multiply. Okay, cross multiplication. We know that 6 times x squared is 6x squared. After this, we need to solve for, we need to now divide both sides by 6. All right, I'm going to divide both sides by 6. All right, divide both sides up by 6, and we are going to write, because 6 over 6 is 1, so the 6 and 6 will cancel. I'll write 6x squared and divide 3456 by 6, and let me see what I get. I get 576, and now I'll have to square both sides. But now I'll have two answers, a positive and a negative answer, as I mentioned earlier on. Right, so I'll get plus or minus 24. So now my job is to plug in the first I'll put in the 24 into the original area formula, and then I'll put the negative 24 to see which one is the bigger number. All right, so for more, you just need to subscribe, and I'll see you again.